Hook U15s. Somewhere right now, someone just got a promotion. A real one. A significant one. And they are sitting in their car in the parking garage, feeling absolutely nothing. Not relief, not joy, not even a little bit of pride. Just a quiet, creeping thought. Is this it? Tension, 15 to 60s. We have built an entire culture around the belief that more money solves the feeling of not having enough. And here is the uncomfortable part. For most people, it doesn't. Not because money isn't real, not because income doesn't matter, but because the moment your income rises, something else rises with it. Something invisible. Something nobody warned you about. The goalpost moves. Every single time. And the terrifying thing is, it moves automatically. You don't choose it. Your brain does it for you. Your social circle does it for you. The market does it for you. So the question isn't whether you're earning enough. The question is, why does earning more keep feeling like less? Body. Let's start with a number. A 2024 Empower research study found that Americans believe they need to earn around $270,000 a year to feel financially comfortable. Not rich, comfortable. And yet the median household income in the U.S. sits somewhere around $80,000. That's a gap so wide it almost doesn't make sense. But here's the thing. When you actually survey people earning $270,000, they don't feel comfortable either. They feel stretched. They feel one bad month away from something they can't name. So what is happening? There's a concept in behavioral economics called the hedonic treadmill. The idea is simple and brutal. Human beings are remarkably good at adapting to new circumstances. Win the lottery, you adapt. Get a raise, you adapt. Buy the bigger house, you adapt. And within months, sometimes weeks, the new normal becomes just normal. The pleasure fades, the relief fades. But the expenses? Those stay. And this is where lifestyle inflation enters the room. Lifestyle inflation isn't just buying nicer things when you have more money. That part is almost rational. It's the way your entire identity recalibrates around your new income level. It's the dinner spots that shift, the hotels that shift. The way you can't really go back to the apartment you used to be happy in, not because it got worse, but because you did. Here's what nobody tells you. Lifestyle inflation is not a spending problem. It's an identity problem. When your income rises, your social reference group changes. The people you compare yourself to change. You're no longer measuring yourself against who you were 6 months ago. You're measuring yourself against who you're standing next to right now. And those people have slightly bigger apartments, slightly newer cars, slightly better everything. Psychologists call this social comparison theory, and it is relentless. It doesn't care how much you earn. It only cares about the gap between what you have and what the people around you have. So here's a question worth sitting with. If you got a 40% raise tomorrow, how long before you felt like you needed another one? Studies suggest most people feel the financial relief from a raise for somewhere between 3 and 6 months. After that, the new baseline is set. And the dissatisfaction returns, sometimes stronger than before because now your fixed costs have climbed to match. But there's a layer beneath the economics that almost nobody talks about. There is a psychological phenomenon called relative deprivation. It's the feeling of lacking something, not because you objectively don't have it, but because someone near you does. And research shows that this feeling, this specific brand of perceived scarcity, is actually more painful than real scarcity. Because real poverty has a clear enemy. Relative deprivation is invisible. You have enough. You just don't have enough compared to what, exactly? And this is where it gets very 2026. We are living inside the most aggressive social comparison engine ever built. Your feed is not showing you average people. It's showing you the top 5% of someone's carefully curated highlight reel. The vacation, the promotion post, the renovated kitchen, the casual luxury. And your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a real neighbor and a digital one. So you're running the social comparison algorithm on a dataset that is wildly skewed toward the exceptional, and wondering why you feel behind. Here's the pattern that plays out in real life. Someone earns $60,000. Life feels tight. They think, if I could just get to $90,000, things would open up. They get to $90,000. For a moment, they breathe. Then the apartment gets slightly better. The car payment slightly higher. The holidays slightly more elaborate. And now $90,000 feels exactly like $60,000 felt. So they think, if I could just get to $130,000. And the cycle doesn't break at $130,000, it doesn't break at $200,000. Research from Princeton, updated in more recent years, suggests that emotional well-being does improve with income, but with sharply diminishing returns, and critically, it plateaus differently for different people depending on something far more interesting than income itself. It plateaus based on whether they are spending money in alignment with their actual values or in alignment with who they feel they're supposed to be. That distinction is everything. The person buying the luxury car because they genuinely love cars, because it brings them alive every single morning, that purchase can hold real psychological value. But the person buying the same car because their colleague just bought one, because they need to signal a certain status, because they'd be embarrassed to drive something lesser now, that purchase will feel hollow within 90 days. Guaranteed. And most of us, if we're honest, are doing a lot more of the second kind of spending than the first. Social psychologist Sherry Turkle has written about the way modern life creates what she calls performance identities, versions of ourselves we perform for an audience rather than inhabit for ourselves. And consumer culture is extremely good at selling products that costume the performance. The watch that says I've made it, the neighborhood that says I'm serious, the restaurant that says I have taste. None of it wrong exactly, all of it expensive, and almost none of it satisfying in the way we hope. Climax. Here is the central thing. Lifestyle inflation isn't primarily a financial failure. It's a clarity failure. The people who escape the trap aren't the people who earn the most. They're the people who got brutally honest about what they actually want their life to feel like. Separate from what they want it to look like. Those are two very different questions. And most of us spend decades and a frightening amount of money confusing them. The raise doesn't fix the feeling because the feeling was never really about the money. It was about the story. The story you're telling yourself about where you are, who you are, and whether you're winning something. And that story, you authored. Which means you can rewrite it. But it takes a level of self-awareness that is genuinely hard. Because the system, the economy, the algorithm, your peer group, none of it benefits from you opting out of the comparison game. All of it needs you running on the treadmill. All of it needs you feeling like almost enough. Ending. Somewhere right now someone just got that promotion, and they're sitting in a parking garage feeling nothing. Maybe the most radical financial act you can take in 2026 isn't optimizing your portfolio. It's stopping long enough to ask, what would actually feel like enough? Not the number, the feeling. Because if you can't answer that question clearly, no raise in the world will answer it for you. And the saddest version of this story isn't the person who never earned enough. It's the person who earned everything they thought they needed, and still felt empty, and never stopped to ask why.